In this segment, I will be discussing a community service trip in which students from Lehman College, including myself, went to Tijuana, Mexico. During this trip, students worked alongside children and their families to help develop the community by building a school. Joining us today, we have Dean John Holloway, who organized the trip, and Norris Terrero, one of the students who participate in the Tijuana, Mexico Alternative Spring Break Project of 2007. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Dean, can you just tell us how do you get involved with a program like this one?
Well, how did I get involved?
Yes.
Prior to coming to to Lehman, I worked at the University of California, where I had some involvement with some students who actually traveled to Tijuana to do a similar project with some schools, the Los Niños program. I had such a wonderful experience there, and something that I would identify as a life-changing experience, that I knew that wherever I went next, that I wanted to make sure that students had an opportunity to experience some of the same life-changing moments that I did. And so after arriving here at Lehman College, after my first year, we actually launched a program to go to the Dominican Republic. And after the first year, it was a major success. And then this year, we actually organized 2 trips. One was for Mexico, and the other was for New Orleans. And we were able to get a great number of students to participate in that program. 25 students went to New Orleans, and I believe 12 traveled to Tijuana.
Now, for a trip like this, how much planning and preparation would it take?
Ideally, it takes a significant amount of time. However, because this is just a part of my responsibilities here, it's often, unfortunately, we put this hat on about 2 months prior to planning the trip, and so it actually creates some stress on the participants, on the students, because as you know, this is a project that is completely student-driven and initiated, and so most of the work happens on the backs of the students, and that includes the cost. As you know, the fundraising is necessary, and for example, all of the building materials is also included in what the students have to raise. So it's a lot of time that really is necessary, and we hope that in the future we'll be able to give a little bit more than 2 months.
Norris, I know we participated in fundraising, as we mentioned earlier. I also went on the trip. Can you mention like fundraising? How did we go about?
For fundraising, we were able to do bake sales, as well as ask organizations and people that you knew, family members, to donate. Myself and another student, we were lucky enough to get sponsored by the SEEK program. So they sponsored us to go on the trip. So they actually covered a lot of the expenses, but we also, alongside with the other members of the group, we participated in bake sales and everything else that we needed, they will contribute towards the group.
Yes, an email was sent out to every student here at Lehman. It was sent to their Lehman account. Mm-hmm. When you opened it, did you automatically know that you was interested in this trip?
Well, before the email, I seen the flyers that were posted up all over campus, and there were 2 options. There was either New Orleans or Mexico, and I automatically said Mexico because, I mean, I'm already living in the United States, and although New Orleans does need a lot of help, I just thought it would be a great experience to go outside and offer my help to outside countries.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the purpose of this trip? What is it exactly that we did over there?
The purpose was that we actually went and worked alongside Los Niños International, and we went to go help build a school. Well, we actually, when we got there, we worked with 2 communities to help build classroom floors. So that was our purpose for going on the trip.
I would like to mention that this trip lasted 8 days. Prior to going on this trip, we only met each other about probably 2 months. Can you tell us a little bit of how we bond and how close did we actually get?
We actually bonded really fast. That was amazing that it was 12 different individuals. You had 12 different personalities, and everybody got along great. And I guess we had no other choice because we were living in the same house, but it was nice to see that, you know, it takes trips like this sometimes to see that these people walk past you every day and you don't get a chance to stop and get to know anybody because it's such like a commuter school, and to get to know everybody was wonderful.
On the first day of the actual working, how did you react? You know, the community was there. There was, I want you to also mention the interaction between the community. There was one lady in particular who she's a self-mute. For everybody out there who doesn't know what a self-mute is, she saw something tragic when she was young and she just decided not to speak no more. Like she understands and she speaks, however she decides just to be quiet. Can you tell us how she opened up to you and the other members?
It was like 5 of us that she really opened up to, and it began because her daughter, Angelica, we were trying to get a picture with her and she would not let us take a picture of her, and we did not understand because usually kids are like, oh, you know, they start posing and they want to take the pictures. And when we approached the mother about it, she told us that the reason is because she's always told her children not to let anybody take pictures because amongst that community, a lot of the pictures that are taken of the children are by people that are actually stealing them. So they take the pictures of them and then they come back after school lets out and they steal the child. So it was amazing when she told us that. We're like, whoa, you know, behind every reaction there's a story. Like, that's why you just can't judge off the backs of just, because when she reacted like that, we were confused. And then when we got to hear the story, we understood more why it was.
Now, Dean, on the trip, we weren't only working. We also had other activities as we went to an orphanage, we went to different community centers. What was the whole purpose of us not only working, but actually getting involved?
Sure, and that really is sort of the bonus to the participation in Los Niños or in Tijuana, because as much as that there is a sense of commitment to service and benevolence and giving back to the community, the goal of making sure that this is an opportunity that you walk away learning more about the lives, the experiences that people have in the locations that we go to, that's critical. I mean, if you can come back here, and I knew, and I was actually really excited because I had participated in Los Niños before, I knew what you all would be in for. And just hearing some of the stories after you returned about some of the locations that you visited and had a chance to break bread, for example, with some of the communities. I know that they make lunch for you all during the break periods and just real special moments. And it's an opportunity just to, again, to learn about their lives, to have some appreciation, to perhaps experience life through their lenses and not so much. As you know, the U.S. and Mexican border relations are real tenuous right now.
Yes.
And I think it was also a goal of mine so that you can see how other folks view American citizens. And I suspect that was one of the things that you had an opportunity to learn about as well.
Maurice, I mentioned that we went to the orphanage. I know that was probably the most impacting experience that all the members, you know, went through. Can you just elaborate on it?
Yeah, when we went to the orphanage, I think it was heartbreaking for everybody there. We went to an orphanage and it was called Refugio
de los Niños de Jesús.
De Niños de Jesús. And the lady actually has 50 children there, but we only got to see about like 15 of them.
I think it was 28.
Yeah, we had a barbecue for them, and they were really happy that we had a barbecue because they don't see that type of food every day.
Meat?
So, yeah, meat.
Yes,
so
meat. We was one of the orphans, they were playing soccer, and I decided to spend time with them. And one of them tells me, "Oh, you brought us meat," in Spanish. And I didn't hear him. And I said, "Can you repeat that?" He says, "Oh, you brought us meat." And I kind of gave him a look. And all of a sudden, he looks at his friends and screams, "Oh, they brought us milk." And they all start jumping and rejoicing. That touched me personally.
Yeah.
And that was just impacting. I know, Maurice, at the orphanage, there was one little girl who we gave her the title, the Diva. Can you explain why?
The Diva, because she wanted to act like us. She wanted to be us. And she was just posing in front of the camera and taking a bunch of pictures and just having a good time with us. So we called her the Diva because every time we posed for a picture, we had to strike a pose. Like